Welcome to Client Stories. Hi there guys, I'm back again with another one of my lovely clients to find out about his story, excuse the pun, and also to find out about his experience of using stories. So Steve, good to see you again.
You too.
We never thought this day would come.
I know, I can't believe it, but we're here.
We're here, we've exchanged contracts.
We have.
Which is fantastic. So for those of you watching, I'm at the incredible old schoolhouse in Spurstow. Just near Tarporley, and I'm going to ask Steve a few questions just to find out a bit more about what it brought him to putting the property on the market in the first place. So Steve, you bought the property a number of years ago now. If you could talk me through when and what's brought you to the decision to sell a house at all.
Absolutely. We bought this little gem a few years ago and we got stuck in straight away with a complete renovation. The previous owners had been here around 35 years. It had been some considerable years since many things had been adjusted and altered. Okay. So we did a renovation, we lived in the property, and then circumstances changed. My work changed to the other side of the country. I was away 5-6 days of the week, and we decided at that point that unfortunately what we'd bought as our forever home couldn't be that forever home because of work commitments as they dictated at the time.
Okay, so it was a bit of a painful process to sell it at all, was it, that decision, or what?
Well, as you can see, it's a glorious property. You guys know it very well, and you've done a great job in getting us to where we are today. But it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's a very niche property, grade 2 listed. It comes with lots of character and lots of quirks. And we did put the house on the market with 2 of the big corporate agencies, which we thought was the right move to do initially.
Okay, could you tell me why you thought that was the right thing to do?
I guess when they came out and had the meetings with us, they said all of the right things. They gave us all of the right research, all of the right data in how their national service could help assist us moving to where we wanted to go to, and probably quickly.
Okay, so would you say that gave you comfort then, that you felt there was the right person dealing with the job for you?
100%. At that point it did. They were very slick in what they were talking about, and we were very much bought into the whole persona of all the marketing and everything that they brought along with them.
So you and I met at a viewing on another property, didn't we? Quite away from here.
Indeed.
I knew your house was on the market. It's an amazing house. So I cajoled myself to getting in the door, didn't I?
You did.
And we had a conversation. So at that point, it had been on the market for about 3 months, is that correct?
Right, yes.
And what had happened during that 3 months with the other agents?
It had moved. We were getting interest in the property, but we were lacking a bespoke, personalised service. And I just felt with the other properties that they had on the market, we were a number of many big volume of properties, and there was no real follow-up afterwards to find out how it had gone, what it was, where we sat, did we need to change anything, was we targeting the right people.
So you and I had a conversation. Just talk me through sort of where you were up to, how you felt after the 3 months with the other agents, and what you felt you needed to do in order to move and progress things forward.
Well, as I say, we were very impressed with their overall sort of presentation of themselves, but one thing we didn't consider was how long their stock sat on the market for. And looking around in the area, we were really surprised that after we'd launched it, quite how many properties they still had on the market that had been sat there for some time. And then you entered the room, we met you on a viewing. Straight away you engaged us from meeting you from the outset. That was before we even got to talking about your strategy and how Storeys could deliver a sale on our potential property.
So you ultimately made the decision to change agents, didn't you?
100% so.
And then talk me through how you felt that went from once you made the call to change to us.
Well, I think your plan, as it was outset from the very beginning, Ian, everything that you've said that you would deliver, you did. In fact, if we were to use an analogy of the song Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and we got a #1 hit, and it sounds a bit cheesy, but it's absolutely right. I think having that plan, being aware of the things that you did, showing us some of that detail of maybe if we change this for the marketing, maybe if we repainted that, and we was told by the other agent, doesn't matter about those things, leave them. And and we did change them on your advice, and we had a really good response as a result of that.
Yeah. Now, it's important to make it clear that this is not a 3-bed detached red row where you've got 500 buyers after it, is it?
No.
So it takes a different type of marketing and sometimes a longer amount of time. So we did eventually get to the stage where we agreed a sale.
Well, not only did you do that, but from the launch initially, we were quite overwhelmed from the launch of the property, how many people were coming through the door on the first batch of sort of viewings. We'd not known that level of interest and that quality of buyer that was coming in, that you were taking care of all of that stuff. We were very impressed.
And how do you think that made you feel at that time then, when you had more viewings coming through?
Well, it gave us a real confidence in where we were heading and what we needed to do. And that constant feedback that you was able to give us back from the viewings, we took that very seriously. It's a stunning property, as we all know, but we don't stand back. We always take the feedback on board, and you guys were there to steer that sale through from the marketing stage right through to where we ended up on Thursday afternoon with that exchange of contracts.
So let's just talk through briefly about what we've been through. So it's nearly 8 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
Since we agreed although it's important to say that it's not been ongoing for that time. They lost their buyer and then they resold. So we restarted the sale effectively, although it has been going on for nearly 8 months in total. We're at exchange of contracts now. How would you say the 8 months has been? Because I know there's been stressful times.
Well, I think you've handled it superbly, not only with the problems that we've had within the sale and the complications that have come along. And one thing that I always use in business myself when I'm working with suppliers or third parties, it's not just delivering what you say on the tin. There's all those unknown curveballs that hit you along the way. And you and your team dealt with that superbly. You were great at putting me back in my box when you needed to at certain points. I know at some points when my number would have come out on your phone, you would have been like, I really don't want to take this call because, you know, I can be hard work. But we got there, and you and your guys made sure of that.
Just talk me through the sales progression, because I know that sales progression is a term that many people watching will not understand what it means. Sales progression refers to the period once you've agreed the sale until exchange of contracts, and it's managing the sale up until that point. Talk me how the sales progression's gone, and I want you to touch on Michelle, who works for me, what she's done in the lower chain that other agents should have done but didn't.
Well, I have to say that lady deserves an award for the amount of work that she's undertaken, particularly on my transaction, in the last week leading up to exchange of contracts.
Your purchase.
Yeah, and on my purchase too. It has been absolutely outstanding. And I think when I mentioned earlier about other agents, there's some high-profile agents, as they like to call them, on the high street in Tarporley, and we had them round too. But it's all a talk, it's all a game, it's all about whatever. And sadly, you guys have had to do all of the work on behalf of the rest of the agents to get this over the line, because there was no real urgency, there was no commitment in things being signed off when they needed to be, and Michelle has been outstanding.
Okay, great, thanks Steve. So finally, really, tell me what your plans are now. You're off to your new property in Lincolnshire.
That's correct.
And I believe you've had some exciting job news.
That's right, Lincolnshire is the way forward, and we went there to be closer to my family and for connections for work. But in the time of it being, the property being on the market, I've now landed a job on an international level with a business based out in New York. So I'm going to be in and out of the UK lots with lots of international travel. So it's a really exciting new chapter, and I'm so pleased after all of this time that you and your team have been able to make this really happen. And I'm getting a little bit emotional now just talking about, no, but I mean it sincerely, Ian, 100%. It's been hard work, and I've been hard work too, but Thursday you got it over the line, and
thank you.
I'm truly grateful.
Well, I'll shake your hand on that.
I'm going to manhug you for that.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you, mate. Now, the one thing Steve needs to remember to do is to invite me to his housewarming party at his new house.
You're there.
Thanks for watching, guys.